Hi again, and this is still Module 5, deciding what shares to buy. And now we're looking at the second topic, which is what to do with information. So in the first topic, we looked at where to find information, and now what do you do with it? So let's get started. One place to start is to understand the company's financial condition or financial position. And the best way to get information there is to look at financial statements. So you don't actually have to have a degree in accounting or extensive bookkeeping experience. If you know what to look for, it actually becomes quite easy to do. And once you've gone through the financial statements, you will then be able to calculate simple financial ratios, which will actually give you a very good picture of the financial condition of a company. So let's look at financial statements. Typically, you would look at the balance sheet. And the balance sheet is where you get information about the net worth of a company. So net worth is simply all the assets of the company minus all its liabilities. Another useful financial statement is the income statement, and that gives you a clearer picture about the profitability of a company. So profit in a company is basically its revenues, or also known as turnover, or its sales, minus all its expenses. And then once you've got information from your balance sheet and your income statement, you can then combine it in different ways to calculate different financial ratios. So let's have a look at an example of a balance sheet. So this is not to give you a deep understanding of balance sheets or how to draw up balance sheets, but it's basically just to give you some insights on how to look for information when you do have financial statements in front of you. So over here we've got the balance sheet for XYZ business, and as you can see, it's for the 31st of December 2010. And if you look at the layout of the balance sheet, right at the top you've got the big heading for assets, and then you've got another heading for equity and liabilities. So if you wanted to know the net worth, we said that net worth is the assets minus the liabilities. Where do you find net worth? Net worth is basically the equity of a company, okay? And then your assets, total assets. So in this particular example, the company has assets of 2.16 million. And the liabilities, it's basically taking the current liabilities and the non-current liabilities, adding those together to get your total liabilities, and that is basically what you do. So if you want to understand more about liabilities, liabilities basically refers to a company's debt. So non-current liabilities would be the long-term debt that a company has. So that's any debt obligation that a company has to pay in more than 1 year. And then your current liabilities, that's basically your short-term debt, and that's basically debt obligations that have to be paid within a year or shorter than a year. And that's quite simple. And then we move on to the income statement. So the income statement is where you can get information, as I said, on the profit of the company. So profit is also referred to as net income. And that's basically the revenue. Another word for revenue is sales. Another word for sales is turnover. And you take the revenue number, and when you subtract the expenses, that gives you your profit. So if we look at this particular income statement, if you want to have a look at the profit, you would look at the net income line. So the net income is less all the expenses. So the operating expenses, the salaries, electricity, lights and water, everything. And then the revenue, you'd look at your total revenue, or on some income statements it would say sales. And from that you subtract your expenses, and that gives you your profit. So you don't need extensive knowledge on financial statements. If you know what you're looking for and where to find it, you can then move on to calculating the ratios. So that brings us to the end of this topic. The next topic 3 is making sense of the numbers.